Another massacre. Uvalde, Texas. Beautiful, innocent. Second, third, fourth graders. And how many scores of little children who witness what happened see their friends die as if they're on a battlefield, for God's sake.
This week marks 1 year since that horrific shooting in Uvalde, Texas, that left 19 young children and 2 teachers dead. ABC News has devoted the last year to covering the aftermath, and we will talk to our correspondents who were there from the beginning in a moment. But Uvalde is sadly just one incident among a blur of tragedy and gun violence in this country. We gathered a group of survivors and family members to discuss their enduring grief and the courage it's taken to move on. Emma Riddle is only 19 years old, and she has already survived 2 mass shootings. The first in 2021 at her high school in Oxford, Michigan. The second this February, when a gunman opened fire at Michigan State University.
When you go through this the first time, they tell you that it's never gonna happen again. You get through this and you're done, but then you go through it again, and I think it completely ruins your sense of safety.
Garnell Whitfield Jr.'s 86-year-old mother, Ruth, was the oldest victim in last year's shooting at the Tops grocery store in Buffalo, a hate crime targeting black shoppers.
She was dark-skinned, beautiful, again, proud, strong, smartest person I've ever met. And she did not deserve to die in the manner in which she died.
Georgia Congresswoman Lucy McBath's 17-year-old son, Jordan, was killed in 2012 by a man who shot at a car full of teens in a parking lot because he didn't like the loud music they were playing.
He had this big, infectious grin and this really hearty laugh. And I just love the fact that Jordan really cared about people outside of him. And it's just, hard every day because he never got to fulfill his purpose. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder, who would he be?
And this is Kimberly Rubio, whose 10-year-old daughter, Lexi, was killed in the Uvalde shooting, one of the deadliest school shootings in American history. The loss of Lexi still so fresh, even a year later. Rubio talks about her daughter in the present tense.
Lexi is my youngest daughter. She's a 4th grader. She's intelligent, competitive, driven, just a sweetheart. On that day, she received the Good Citizen Award. I had no doubt that she would make a difference in this world, and it's my responsibility to make sure she still does.
But for all of these survivors, no matter how long ago, the grief, the fear is just below the surface. Riddle escaped 2 mass shooters, but it was the first that most affected her. When it happened the first time at Oxford, where were you? Tell us that story.
So we kind of all got information that something had been happening in the school. So we barricaded the door with our stands and chairs. We decided to evacuate after I want to say a couple minutes. So we checked the door and we saw other students running. So at that point we decided we should evacuate too.
What was it like being in there? I mean, that must have been terrifying.
I was really worried about my friends and my family, sorry. In that situation, you don't know where they are. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. I think everybody here understands. Riddle would later hear the full story of that day and feel the pain of losing 4 of her fellow students. But it was Riddle's description of those first moments of the shooting in Oxford that were especially agonizing for Kim Rubio to hear. Her daughter Lexi and the other children at Robb Elementary School were terrorized by the gunman for some 80 minutes before police finally ended it.
Every time I listen to a survivor, I picture Lexi, and I wonder what she would say, how she would tell her story if she had survived. It's hard. I can imagine that Lexi wanted me And I wish I would have been with her. I wish I would have been able to comfort her, attempt to protect her, or just gone with her.
1 year later, what kind of evolution have you gone through? What is your coping mechanism?
I'm a runner, and running from my problems has been what I've been doing. I have not accepted my new reality. I don't like to think about it. I don't like to think about a 1 year mark. I've really thrown myself into this space for a reason. I want to make change. I want people to remember her, but it also keeps me busy.
But week after week, shooting after shooting, all are forced to relive their own trauma. Garnell, tell me your reaction to what has happened in the country.
Almost daily, there's another shooting somewhere in the country, another, mass shooting somewhere, and we constantly have to be reminded of what happened. You feel the pain of those who are yet going through this.
For Whitfield, change does not just mean legislation, it means a change of heart.
I think that change happens in the hearts and minds of people, and so having these conversations, being able to talk to people, I think exposes our humanity one with the other, and that's where change happens.
It's been more than a decade since she lost her son, but Congresswoman McBath is still fighting for change at the federal level. What do you want to happen?
Assault weapons ban, federal background checks for all gun sales, federal red flag laws, child access prevention legislation, keeping guns out of hands of domestic abusers. I want to be able to know that everyone across America feels safe. They feel safe. They can live their lives fully without the fear of everyday gun violence.
A life, say all of these survivors, uninterrupted by gun violence, something they hope the next generation can make happen.
I think my generation's sick of it. Like, we've grown up in this. We've been doing, like, the drills since elementary school. Like, why do drills when you can just stop the problem?
So where does your hope come from?
This new generation coming up, they've had enough. But it also shouldn't just fall on their shoulders. So many people have lost their lives. You can see it everywhere. You just see pain everywhere. And it hasn't reached the politicians yet. Not all of them, but it's definitely reached the people of America.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.